Next big nerd news story of the week, Wonder Woman 1984 makes its move yet again. This movie, I think, was supposed to come out in 1984.
Yeah, right?
Well, it's moved to Christmas.
Okay.
It was announced this week that they were thinking about maybe moving it for a number of reasons, which we'll get into in just a second. Well, it was announced this week they are making the move to Christmas Day. So Wonder Woman 2 is going to come out on December 25th.
Wow.
Questions, and we'll get to it in just a second. Like, what does this mean for the Dune movie? It was also supposed to come out in December, which is also a Warner Brothers movie. We'll get into the Dune stuff in just a second. But pretty much where this came from, it was, like I said, it was originally supposed to come out October 2nd. Mm-hmm. So we were mere weeks away from Wonder Woman, and then they obviously moved it to Christmas. Director Patty Jenkins, she said this week, it's kind of a long quote, she said, "First and foremost, let me say how much Gal and I love all our devoted Wonder Woman fans around the world, and your excitement for Wonder Woman 84 couldn't make us happier or more eager for you to see the movie, because I know how important it is to bring this movie to you on a big screen when all of us can share the experience together. I'm hopeful you won't mind waiting just a little bit longer with the new date on Christmas Day. We can't wait to spend the holidays with you." Good point.
Aw, that is a good point.
Currently, theaters are closed in New York. They're closed in several cities around California. Mm-hmm. They're not open worldwide, and certainly people aren't flooding back to it.
Right.
So, Sean, does it make sense that they would move from October 2nd, which was like 3 weeks from now, and just saying, you know what, let's go ahead and just push it to December. There'll be more theaters open.
I think it totally makes sense. And then, I mean, holiday movies, people look forward to going to the movies on Christmas Day, and so I think they're just looking at the numbers that we saw with Tenet. Obviously, you can't really have a blockbuster movie come out during these times because they're just not making the money. It's not there, so the audience isn't there. So I think it makes sense. It sucks because I've been waiting to see this movie for a year now. I feel like all movies have turned into a New Mutants at this point.
We'll never see them.
We're just never going to see them, but it makes sense. What do you think?
I think it makes total sense, especially when you talk about Tenet, because Tenet just came out and didn't do so well at the box office for obvious reasons. It's not getting the best reviews from fans.
That's
Critics
true.
are really digging it, but they just didn't make a lot of money because the big theater cities aren't open yet.
Right.
Theaters are open at a very limited capacity.
Yep.
Best to just sit on Wonder Woman, and it feels like a good Christmas movie as well.
Yeah, of course. It's more family friendly, and
Exactly. It's a good movie to drag people back to the theater. People just aren't quite ready to go back to the theater yet.
I agree.
Even with the social distancing laws that are being put in place and the masks and all that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we went and saw New Mutants.
And it was great.
And AMC is doing it right. I mean, they've got hand sanitizer, wipes, everything everywhere. They've got the barricades up for concessions, everything.
I do recommend going back to the movie theater because they're doing it right. At least for AMC, our experience. So my big question was, because it just got announced this week, we got the first Dune full-length trailer. Dune was supposed to come out 2 weeks before Christmas Day. Also a Warner Brothers property. So they haven't announced if they're going to move Dune.
Okay.
What do you think? Will Warner Brothers move Dune to give Wonder Woman a little more breathing space? Should they move it, or should they try to just own December? What are some of the argument? Okay, arguments can be made on either side. I mean, arguments for keeping Dune in its place is that money for the studio. Warner Brothers has had a shitty year. Every movie company has had a shitty year.
Right.
Let's make as much money in 2020 and going into 2022 or 2021 as we can.
Yeah.
Again, like you said, people go to the movies at Christmas time. There's a lot of room for multiple blockbuster films. I mean, going back to another Warner Brothers property, Aquaman came around Christmas time, back when theaters were open, and they still made over $1 billion, competing with all those other studios.
Sure.
So, I mean, there's room for multiple blockbuster films.
Absolutely. And the fact that they're, like you were saying, they're both Warner Brothers properties, I don't think they'd be competing against themselves because, one, Wonder Woman is more of a family movie. Dune, you're not going to take your kids to Dune on Christmas Day unless you're well, I don't know, maybe you will, but still, it's more of a family-friendly, kid-taken movie. And there's not a lot of movies coming out.
Yeah.
So if you got 2 movies that are blockbusters, you can have that movie playing in multiple theaters. I mean,
There's a few movies coming out still
Okay.
in December. We got the movie Free Guy,
Oh,
which
yeah,
is
with Ryan Reynolds.
the Ryan Reynolds movie. That's scheduled for
Okay.
a December release. Coming to America 2 is still scheduled for a December release. West Side Story, Steven Spielberg's
Okay.
version of West Side Story, and of course, who can forget Escape Room 2?
Oh.
Also coming in
I didn't
December.
even know
But
there was an Escape Room 2 coming.
none of these are big blockbusters. Like
Right.
none of these are billion-dollar movies.
No.
Not a single one. Wonder Woman almost guaranteed to be a billion-dollar movie.
Sure.
Dune could very well be.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, there's arguments to be made on why you should keep it in place. There's also arguments in my mind of why you might want to move Dune.
Yeah.
If no other reason, it gives the studio more time to finish the movie, tweak the movie.
Yeah.
And because they're still doing reshoots as we speak, and that trailer's already out. Or they're doing, pickup shots and stuff like
Right.
that, and also more time to promote the movie.
That's true.
Because this trailer dropped, the fan community went nuts. I don't think anybody's losing their mind. It was a cool
I
trailer.
thought the trailer was great.
It was a cool trailer, but I mean, it just gives you more time to promote it.
That's true. Yeah.
Because let Warner Brothers promote the living shit out of Wonder Woman.
Mm-hmm.
It just gives you more time to ramp up interest in the Dune movie as opposed to kind of competing with yourself. Also, in 2021, there might be more theaters open. You might have
That's
more
true.
of an opportunity to get more eyeballs in the seat if you push Dune into February, March, April of 2021. And like you were
Yeah.
saying before, you're not splitting your audience. Granted, Wonder Woman's a little more family friendly and Dune's a little bit more grown up and sci-fi. But if you're like me and a lot of the people watching the show right now,
You do take
you
your
want to
kids.
see both.
Yeah, that's true.
You are the audience for
You
both
take the
films.
kids to Dune.
Me, I'll go to the multiple movies
Yeah.
a year, but you run the risk of splitting that audience just a little bit. If
That's
only
true.
because there's only so much pie to go around in December. Why?
And
Compete
there's
against yourself.
a very good possibility that come 2021 we'll have a vaccine for COVID, and then every
Right.
theater's open and you can be full capacity. So
So I don't know, man. Let us know in the comment
Yeah.
section. What do you think? Should they move Dune and give Wonder Woman some breathing space and also give themselves more promotional time, or should they keep Dune where it is and just Warner Brothers owns Christmas? Definitely arguments to be had on both sides and more to be discussed in future episodes of Chocolate Comics. So sound off in the comment section, guys. Let us know what you think. Next big nerd news story that dropped this week. The new Mandalorian Season 2 photos dropped.
woohoo!
There may be a trailer by the time you're watching this video. I'm sure there will be. But at the time of this taping, we haven't gotten the trailer yet.
That's true.
So